Good evening. My name is Robert, and I try things. On Sundays, I try whatever I feel like. Good chance that today is gonna be not necessarily spinning the wheel. We might be going through Plex and building a new stream playlist with Plex and the freeness that I have rather than Spotify. Because I'm tired of paying $13 a month for Spotify. And I've been saying that for like 3 or 4 months now, and I just haven't taken the time to actually import the stream beats into Plex and build the playlist and then figure out how to get it to automatically play. What are you going to play VR? What game are you going to play in VR? I have never played a VR game. I've thought about it. There's a VR arcade. Yeah, it's in Topeka. It's in the mall, which, if that tells you anything, because malls are hardly a thing anymore. I just hesitate to buy a VR headset, well, for a number of reasons. One, I don't want to get Meta. I'm not touching Meta. I'm not giving Meta any money at all. They make enough money by selling my data. I'm not giving them money directly. And then, so there's like Steam VR, and that's probably fine, except for the fact that VR headsets have a tendency, from what I understand, to make your face and your eyes warm and hot and sweaty and gross and uncomfortable and nasty. In fact, they sell special cooling gel masks that you put on under the VR headset to sort of prevent overheating and whatnot. And then I would want to get like a wireless headset because I am not about having, a wire. Gonna play a game called VR Chat. Okay, so it's VR Chat. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. How long have you known each other? And actually, I'm really curious, Landon, what does your avatar look like on VR Chat? Is there, you might be able to send a link to like a screenshot. You've known each other for 6 years. Cool. That is a long time to know somebody. Let's see. My best friend, the guy I call my best friend, I've known him for about 4 years now. And we met online through actually our wives. His wife and my wife were in a Discord server playing Animal Crossing together. Right at the beginning of the pandemic. They were all obsessed with it. And he and his wife are no longer together, but he and I are still best buds. I'm so happy that I met him. But we've hung out in person a number of times. The last few times have been difficult to pull together because of different things that are going on in his life. You don't think you can send it, but you made it, and it took you weeks on weeks to make. So there's not a way to like take a screen capture or have your friend take a screen capture. Trusted user on VR Chat. What does that mean? I'm gonna Google that. VR Chat trusted user. VR Chat is all one word. That's what I just learned. Safety and trust system. Okay. Data, trust system. Whether you're permitted to upload content. So you can upload your own content to VR because you're trusted. Sweet. Aggregate of many variables. Adjust the way we calculate this value so we tweak it as time goes on. So you start as visitor. Oh, so you're all the way up here. Friend, is friend a real thing? Is that a rank you can reach, or is that like, is this about a friend, or is that just pretending like this is your name and then this would be your, I'm not sure what exactly that would mean. Anyway, I would just be really curious to see what your would obtain rates have more than 250 friends, 515 plus 100 plus hours in game, or migrating your Steam Oculus Vport account with the rank trusted user to a VR Chat account. Okay. I've never done, like I said, I've never done VR. I'm just so curious to know what your avatar looks like. Why is that so? I'm just so curious. I really want to know. So what has Landon been up to? Have you successfully cut down on your Coke Zero consumption? Speaking of which, I am thirsty. I'm gonna have some water. Valve is probably... No, you have not cut down on your Coke Zero. Like, at least it doesn't have actual sugar in it, and it's not going to mess with your sugar levels. However, you may not have known this. Artificial sweeteners, non-caloric sweeteners, or non-nutritive sweeteners, as certain food scientists call them, like stevia, polydextrose, aspartame, things like that, can actually cause overeating and blood sugar spikes, because your brain and your mouth taste the sweetness of this non-nutritive sweetener that doesn't have any calories, but your body, because it's sweet, is expecting for there to be calories, and so it releases insulin, which in your case, your body is not doing that. So maybe that actually wouldn't... Bought it for $1,100 on launch after tax. How much is it now? Right at 1,000 for the kit. Which includes, what is this? Base stations? Is that what those are? Okay, I guess these are the base stations. So are they like Wi-Fi mesh routers, basically? Room scale precision with lasers. Okay, so that's how they track your movement through the room. Okay, okay. Trackers that go in the room. Yeah, so they track your movement physically with your whole body rather than just the controllers. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so the whole kit is right about 1,000. So it hasn't gone down much. Hasn't gone down much. If you just want the headset or the controllers, those are really expensive also, and so are the base stations. 2 or more base stations recommended. A lot better than built-in trackers on the MetaQuest. So as far... When you say built-in trackers, you mean the... what are they called? Potentiometers? The what are they called? Not gyroscopes. Just the movement sensors. They're like on the headset itself. I figured that would be... I bet there are the movement sensors in the Index headset as well. Cameras. Okay. Yeah, because a camera on the headset is not going to be able to see your whole body. These lasers away from you are going to see your whole body. I don't... Yeah, the Valve does sound better. And if I was going to get VR, that's probably what I would do. How warm does it get? That's what I want to know. Does your face sweat like within 5 minutes? That's my biggest... It's not my biggest concern. It's really not. My biggest concern is falling on my face. I have no idea how my body and brain would react being in a VR environment. I'd like to think that I would know well enough that I'm in a VR setting and that like this enemy coming at me is not actually physically there. So I don't have to like run across the room, but I'm actually like standing right next to my TV and I run into the TV. I'd like to think that I've been playing games long enough that I would use the controller to move myself, you know, out of the way in that kind of situation. I like to think, but I don't know for sure. I don't think I would try the like out on a plank over the skyscraper thing because my brain does not like heights. It gets kind of warm. It honestly depends on your PC specs if your game can handle. If it's a well-optimized game, that much heat coming from... Not that much heat coming from the heads up. I know it's weird because in order to play the Valve, you do need it to be hooked up to your PC, but with a MetaQuest, it's standalone, meaning no PC is required. Gotcha. Okay, so it does all the processing on itself. Okay. Yeah, that's also part of why I would want the Valve, is because I have a $2,200 computer here that can do the processing. I don't want to have that in all hotness on my face. Hi, Lily. Exclamation mark kitty in the chat to count the number of times the cats have shown up on stream. Hi, baby girl. I've been playing with this bottle opener for no reason. Kitty. 176 times counted. It's probably double that have not been counted. Hi, Lily. Yes, you're very cute. I know there's another big VR maker. For a long time, I considered just getting, you know, the adapter headset for, just throwing my phone in it. Just, you know, the gear. I think it's the Samsung VR gear or something. Just throwing my phone on it. Hydrate or dihydrate. You built your PC for around $3,000. Mine was $2,200. I built it myself, but that was my budget. That was all I had. Went to Micro Center, said, hey, this is my budget. Can you help me put something together? He's like, okay, let's get the most expensive video card we can. Oh my gosh, dude, a 4090 is going to be viable for like 6 years. You didn't really need a 4090. I've got a 3070 Ti, which I don't know exactly what the Ti means, but this is going to do me for 4 or 5 years. In fact, it's already almost done me for 2 years. And you know, I don't play like the latest and greatest like Forza or FIFA games that have to have the ray tracing and the LSS or RSS, whatever it's called. I think it's LSS, DLSS. So this is honestly a little bit overkill for me, but it's gonna last forever. You have a good job. You're good. Yeah. And you also know the creative director for, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that one. NCXT or Next. What was that sound? There was a knocking sound. Did someone actually knock at my door? Do you mind sharing what you do for work, Landon? I forgot to hydrate. I'm gonna dehydrate. Do I meet the system requirements? Hold on. Windows 10, I have 11. 8 gigs of RAM, I have 16. GeForce 970 plus, I've got the 3070. I'm good. Recently got a job in IT working for Microsoft. Congratulations. I had other things I was going to say, but congratulations. Like what type of IT? Is it like, are you direct consumer support? No, they don't do that. They send that to India. Are you making things? Are you doing things with routers? Dual core processor, I'm pretty sure I've got 4. And I do have USB 3.0 plus. That's probably like the newest requirement that it has. Where was I? Excuse me. So there's the wheel, but I'm probably eventually going to switch over to building this playlist because it's Stream Beats, so it's free. So I'm not going to get content ID'd for it or a copyright strike or whatever you want to call it. But the problem is the playlists that I've actually recently been playing through Spotify are not available to download. You develop OS features and work on Xbox software updates. That sounds awesome. That may be the coolest job of anybody I know. Let me think. Let's see. Gabby puts people to sleep professionally and wakes them back up. That's the important part. Eric converts engineering designs into AutoCAD. Lindsay is a real estate agent. Anesthesia. She's more than that. She is a doctor of anesthesiology. She's I forget. It's a nursing degree, but it's a doctorate. It's like LPN or something. That's not exactly. It's a nurse anesthetist. There we go. That's the title, is a nurse anesthetist. But she had to get a doctorate degree to make it happen. And so we're all very impressed with her. She also does powerlifting casually on the side. She's stronger than I am. Yeah, that sounds like the coolest job of anybody I know. My best buddy drives trucks. Cool and scary. You'd hate to watch people all dragged up. I mean, for the most part, they don't even do anything. They just lay there and sleep. And it's your job to monitor their blood pressure and heart rate and brain activity and make sure that they're deep enough asleep that they're not feeling anything, but not so deep that they're never going to wake up again. I swear I'm hearing knocking sounds. You know what I bet it is? I bet it's Lily getting into one of the dining room chairs that are directly above me. They wobble. Okay. What was I saying? Right, the music that's on Spotify that I'm playing right now is actually not available to download. Lily, get yourself settled. It's Eric! Sometimes 12-hour shifts. That is not cool. Holy cow. Man. I don't know if I've ever worked 12 hours at a time, even when I was working. Let's see. Probably the worst job I ever had for the amount of time I had to work. You know, none of my jobs actually ever made me work a really, really long time. I had part-time jobs all the way through college. When I moved to Denver temporarily, my job was technically full-time, but I was done by, just past lunchtime every day because I worked fast. Not all the time, though, and only very important projects, but usually you can work from home and haven't gone to Microsoft HQ yet, which is where? Is that in California? Probably. What are you guys doing? Okay, so it's not Lily getting into the seat upstairs because she's down here. So was she playing with something under this ottoman? Ooh, graveyard. That's not good. Paige liked second shift where she got started at like 2 p.m. and then got off at 10. And then we'd stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning. I think it's in Washington. Let me see. Redmond, Washington. Okay. Okay, what is happening here? Lily, what are you doing? What's under this ottoman? Oops.
I'm just here for the food.
I'm just here for the food. It is Binsky, Rubinsky, Mominsky, my man. I just had to go and figure out what my cat was doing under the ottoman that's over there. She was apparently chasing one of her crinkly Mylar ball toys. And when I lifted it up to see what was under there, I forgot that the top of the ottoman comes off, and so it just fell over, and I had to fix it. So Eric is here, Rubinsky's here, Landon's here. Landon is about to go hang out with his buddy of 6 years in VR chat, which I've never done. I've been a little bit curious about, but it just doesn't really seem like my style of thing to do. Tad intoxicated due to Holiday and Milo stream. Yeah, I saw Milo streaming earlier. I was busy doing a puzzle with Paige, so I couldn't join his stream. But I bet that was fun. What? Hold on. Intoxicated due to Milo's stream? What were you doing in Milo's stream? Should I be intoxicated? I have beer. I'm gonna grab a beer. So I have four 12-ounce bottles left of the beer I made a few, what's it called? Months ago. That's the word. A holiday, but you don't know what one. Like, let's see, St. Patrick's Day was last weekend. And let's see, it's International Puppy Day yesterday? Something like that. It was a... Oh, hold on. Okay. Intoxicated due to the holiday. Oh, and Milo was doing a drinking stream. Not his fault in the slightest, but it's an extra excuse. There we go. Butt spot, that's a fail. Although Hollabutt is pretty good. And Buttlow is pretty good. Recently broke up your podcast for work. It was sad, but you don't have the time for it anymore. It was called Blues Podcast. Blues like blues music? Okay, oh, okay. So not like one of those silly made-up holidays for marketing purposes. It's actually... What is Purim, anyway? Well, okay, Passover's coming up. Need to drink enough to confuse the villain and hero. Who? I mean, like, there's one villain and one hero. And in fact, the hero and the villain don't really interact in Jewish beliefs, is my understand. Oh, okay. Someone tried to kill us and they didn't. We eat and celebrate and read the story. Okay. Okay, so would hero be Moses or is hero Yahweh? Imagine drinking enough to confuse Harry Potter and Voldemort. That, like, they're getting drunk like a contact high, a contact buzz. It's a lot of drinking. My understanding is there is a fair amount of drinking in Jewish culture. Okay, so the hero is neither Yahweh nor Moses. Gotcha. Oh. Don't know if that's true, but you've heard there was a religion that people made up so they don't have to pay taxes. Oh yeah, the flying spaghetti monster! Yes! Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of drinking in Jewish culture. Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah, I remember the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster in the early thousands. Mostly, it was just an internet joke, for the most part. Oh, Mordecai. Okay, so that's not in, like, the original, hold on. I used to know the words for this. There's the law and the prophets, and then they, like, had, like, a 3-letter acronym. The law, the prophets, and the songs, I think. And there was an acronym, whatever. This was after, the first temple. Oh, okay. Okay, so he is in the law. Or the prophets. One of them. Okay. It's been a long time since I read any of that. Why is that better than it has been recently? The Tanakh, yes. The Torah, Nevuim, no. Ketuvim. Okay, so I've got Torah and I've got Ketuvim. What's the middle one? Nevium? Ketubim. Butspot, that's a fail there. You don't want to do that with religious terms. Eric is drinking coffee. Rubinsky, I think you're confusing me further. How do I know so much? That's a really good question. Why do I know that? I gotta remember how I learned that. I'm butting it. Yes. Botspot, what are you doing? You've been, like, halfway mostly absent. Navi'im is the books of the prophets. So it's the Torah, the Navi'im, and the Ketuvim. Yes. Or Beam, or, you know, whichever way. The V and the B are fairly fluid in the way they're pronounced, I understand. Why do I know that? I think it was probably from an Old Testament class that I went to in the very Southern Baptist college that I attended. That's the only explanation I can think of. It is making up for lost butts. Making up for lost butts. Yeah. Well, you better, Buttspot. You've been, yeah, I don't know what happened. Did they upgrade the server capacity? That's the best explanation I can think of for that, Rubinsky. B, B, and S are all S2? Interchangeable depending on how you were raised, depending on what was stressed. S2. Interesting. Yeah, no, I know. Okay. I saw a description many years ago of someone whose knowledge is an inch deep and a mile wide. Shabbat versus Shabbos. Oh, that makes sense now. Because I have seen both of those spellings and pronunciations, and they're the same thing. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. What was I saying? Yeah, inch deep, mile wide. I know a little bit about a lot of shit. I'm not really, really good at anything, but I'm okay at a lot of things. You have a dev kit Xbox, but you don't know if you're supposed to talk about it. Shh. It's just the four of us here. Mage and a cleric talking smart stuff. So what does that make Eric? He would be... Eric, you'd be... weird surface knowledge and a bunch of stuff. Yeah. A brute? I don't know. You're so creative and artistic. Like, your knowledge is an inch deep and a mile wide in a lot of artistic things. Poet is a good idea. I was thinking more in like D&D classes. Artificer? Sorta? That's the closest thing I can think of. Or a bard? Yeah, maybe a bard. Yeah, you know what? Yes, because Eric writes great stories. Eric writes great stories. He read a few of them. Okay, so Eric is also, I've been following Eric for a couple of years now, and he's also kind of inch deep, mile wide. He's done a lot of different things art-wise. When I first saw him, he was painting... Hold on. Where are they? They're around somewhere. There they go. Okay. When I first met Eric, he was painting a lot of these watercolor mountain landscapes. So I've got, what, 3 of them? 2 of them. So this is one, and then we got this one too. He was doing a lot of these, and then he was sketching animals, whatever. And then he moved on to some charcoal type stuff, and then he moved on to like marker drawings that he was coloring with colored markers. No. In between there, you were coloring your marker drawings with watercolors. And then I've seen you make paper cut stuff. Now you're working on clay environments for D&D. Sagittarius likes variety. Okay. Landon, those points aren't there anymore since I made it to affiliate. Now they're actual Twitch points. Yeah, Eric's done a lot of different things. So yeah, I would call you an inch deep, mile wide type of guy. Just in different things. I just know a lot of useless shit. Like they're testing, or have been testing, or have tested a supercapacitor electromagnetic, what do they call that? Catapult for jets on... I forgot I had that. Nobody uses emotes. Drizzlicious. Wait, what's... Oh! You want to try it? It's like, what's Drizzlicious? I cast a mean magic missile? Probably. I inhaled spit. I've never tried these. That's why they're over there. I've never given them a shot yet. I've never seen them before. Paige brought them home from Aldi, I think. Laughs in Taurus. I'm a... what's it called? Sesquipedalian. That's what I am. That's... what was I going to say? Yeah, I think Paige brought these home from Aldi. They are... Good job, Buttspot. Oh my gosh. As far as Magic Missile goes, no, I read a description, or somebody asked the question on Tumblr years ago. You know, why do characters in D&D each occupy a 5-foot square? Why don't they want to be any closer? What do you have with, you know, an issue with personal space? And someone responded along the lines of, listen, If the guy in front of me has to do the turbo Macarena while charging bolts of flesh melting, and the guy on my left is doing every Bruce Lee move simultaneously, and the guy on my right is swinging his axe around, building up momentum, I'm just gonna stand far enough away not to get liquefied. And that was the greatest D&D description I've ever read of a game I've never played. Yeah, okay, let's try the Drizzleicious then. So these are cookies and cream Drizzleicious, which are chia, quinoa, flax, and rice. Where are my scissors? Because I don't trust the tear here to open things with the little notch, because half the time when they do open all the way, because it's two pieces, they open unevenly, and so you get to the other end and one end's down here and one's up there, and you have to like tear them and make a big mess. Excuse me. And then the other half of the time, you tear them and they don't go far enough down to actually make it past where they're sealed together, and so you have to get scissors and cut it open anyway. So I'm just gonna cut this. Let's see, where exactly? I have to cut it low enough. Although this looks promising, like it would have opened properly, except for having the two separate pieces. Okay. Smells pretty good. It looks like every, chocolate cookies and cream type cereal you've ever seen. In fact, I almost want to put this in a bowl with milk the way it looks. They are drizzled in the way of like popcorn. Not a lot of drizzle on this one, but there's some, so I'm going to give it a try. There's like almost no chocolate flavor to that. It's very faint. Faint is a good word. About 21 pieces, about 5 servings per container. You can do it! I did it! I did it, Eric. Now, it's only 90 calories per serving, so I could eat a bunch of these and theoretically not get fat. Having more of them at once does intensify the flavor. But I can definitely tell that there are various grains in here. I think I'm getting, well, mostly the rice, but I think flax. I think I'm tasting flax. And don't ask me why I know what flax tastes like. One just simply eats the bag. Well, it's only 450 calories. Okay, Rybinski, that word you just used. I am trying to unlearn some of my pedantry. We don't need any flax from me. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean, but it's funny. So addicting. I used to think it wasn't a word. Apparently it is a word, has been a word. It means the same thing as addictive. Or the same word, basically. But it just seems so incorrect to me. But it's not. I'm just pedantic. And also language changes. In fact, I recently discovered this etymology nerd on Instagram. Need me to Google something. Okay. Is it like on screen Google safe? I probably will eat the whole damn bag. There, you can mindlessly snack on them very easily. Okay, what am I Googling, Binsky? Oh, somebody said this looks good. Thank you, Eric. Somebody had mentioned that my beer looks good. This actually tastes better than it has. I mentioned before that I wasn't able to bring this batch of beer to a full boil, let alone boiling it for like a whole hour. like you're supposed to, which gets rid of some of the more volatile compounds like dimethyl sulfide, so that didn't come out of this beer. And what dimethyl sulfide does is makes the beer taste like vegetables. The stereotypical term that people will use is like canned corn. My buddy said asparagus. To me, it's just nasty. It's just not good. But this one, this bottle in particular, maybe they just needed to sit longer. Maybe it breaks down eventually. I don't know. Is not so strongly vegetable tasting. It tastes mostly just like beer. There is some of the vegetable tasting. Or maybe I've just gotten used to it. I don't know. You drink it fast enough, it mostly just, okay, no, there it all is. Yeah, I think I mostly just kind of convinced myself that it's not quite so bad. But I kind of want to add a little coffee to it. Because I had coffee and beer separately last week, and they were pretty good. Adds in 40 seconds, by the way. Like, I was going back and forth between them, and no complaints. So, probably should add some coffee to it before I run out of it. But I do need to drink through it before the beer that's currently fermenting upstairs needs bottles. Which will be in another week, maybe 2. I'm supposed to let this sit for a little bit after it initially finishes fermenting. Oh! Story time. Want to hear something interesting that's happened? Our air conditioner is dying. Air conditioner / heater is dying. I think I've told part of this story before. In-laws came to visit. Their bad luck is what I'm coming to understand. In-laws came to visit. The night they got here, the blower motor for the furnace started making a continuous grinding noise. Roll it back just a little bit. Several weeks, months before that, we noticed that the blower was getting louder when it started up. So we had the tech come and he said, yeah, your capacitor is going bad. We'll replace that, but damage to the motor has already been done because it's been pulling too much power because the capacitor wasn't sending it the right amount of power that it was supposed to. So the motor is probably eventually going to go out. And flash forward to last week when the in-laws were here, it got louder than it had been. And I came down and it wasn't moving. So I turned the power off. I was like, okay, I'm going to file an insurance claim because we have a rider on our insurance for if a piece of equipment in our house breaks down, becomes inoperable, stops working at all, then they will replace it. So dishwasher, refrigerator, stove, air conditioner. It's a lot like a home warranty, but simpler and cheaper. And if you want to know more about that, I can tell you about it. But so I turned it off, submitted an insurance claim, and then Sunday evening for funsies, can't find the article, but basically it's a letter from Benjamin Franklin to Congress not to add a word to the English language because it was too French. Benjamin. Mr. Franklin, sir. Are you aware of how English works? English adds words from any language it feels like. English is not a language. English is 3 languages in a trench coat. English is what happens, I read this description a month or 2 ago. English is what happens when Nords learn Latin to yell at Germans and then to yell at French people. There are so many words in English that were not originally on the English islands at all. I think I looked up a thing a few weeks ago for you guys where so there are 3, the word scale in English has 3 different meanings. Scale like on a fish or on a lizard, scale like to scale or climb a wall, or scale as in like thing that weighs things. And each of them comes from a completely different language, not even related to each other at all. They just happen to sound kind of similar when they got brought over into English, and then they got standardized to be spelled the same way. Right, air conditioner. Sunday afternoon, I turned it back on just to see what would happen, and it seemed to be working okay. And then 6 o'clock Monday morning, father-in-law comes and knocks on the door. He says, "Hey, Robert, I think your air conditioner motor has frozen up again. Um, I'm smelling burning." I'm like, okay, that's gonna jump me out of bed. So I went and shut the power off again, and it was grinding noise even louder. And then the day I called the air conditioner company at the behest of the insurance company, and they came and looked, and I turned it on for them, and nothing too bad was going on. He did measure it again, measure the voltage that was pulling, and saying, yeah, it's pulling too much voltage. And if it's seizing up, it does need to be replaced. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I left it running after he left, and guess what? Later that afternoon, it seized up again. So it's just staying off permanently. I'm not turning it back on. And so what I'm trying to do is convince the insurance company to believe that we need an entire new HVAC system, because that's what the tech recommends. This particular issue could be fixed by replacing just the blower motor. But considering the fact that our air conditioning system is 25 years old, it was installed in 99, according to the label, it's just going to keep breaking down. And this isn't a home warranty situation where they can continue trying to fix the symptoms rather than trying to fix the issue. This insurance rider is, if the part breaks down or if the equipment breaks down, becomes inoperable, then we'll replace the equipment rather than trying to fix the equipment. So I'm trying to convince them to not only get us a new furnace, not only get us a new blower motor, but also a new furnace and the air conditioner compressor outside. And the reason he thinks that the air conditioner compressor needs to be replaced is because it's a closed loop system. And once it starts leaking, you can't fix that. Technically you can search for the problem and cut things out and try to replace them, but it's like maybe several thousands of dollars to do that. So once it starts leaking, it's never going to stop, and it's only going to get worse. And we know it's leaking because it froze up and measured low on the amount of Freon in it, so we had to put more Freon in it, and that's only going to get worse. And so the tech, because of that, because of the age, because of the blower motor, and because he smelled something that he thinks is the secondary heat exchanger going bad. I didn't know there was more than one heat exchanger. Had no idea. He thinks that smell means that secondary heat exchanger is combusting incompletely, could cause carbon monoxide issues. Thankfully, right next to where the heater is, we have the carbon monoxide detector, which is probably exactly why it's there, but the heater's staying off until we get all this figured out. So hopefully we're going to get like $12,000 worth of, yes, we'll replace the whole HVAC system. Hopefully. And then hopefully next year, the water heater will die. And then I'll be able to get a tankless water heater. Okay, so I'm not Googling. I'm also not going to try to build a stream playlist with you guys here because we're having a good time talking, and trying to listen to the music would just slow all that down. Why not? Wait, why not which one? I'm not Googling what Rubinsky was looking for. Oh, he found it. During my late absence in France, I find that several other new words have been introduced into our parliamentary language. For example, I find a verb formed from the substantive notice. I should not have noticed that this were it. Hold on. I find a verb formed from the substantive notice. I should not have noticed this were it not that the gentleman and company. Also, another verb from the substantive advocate, the gentleman who advocates or who has advocated that motion, etc. Another from the substantive progress, the most awkward and abominable of the three. Basically, Ben Franklin didn't like the use of notice as a verb in a letter to Congress. Ben Franklin from what I understand, was a jerk. I don't remember exactly why. I think someone recommended it. I tried to read a biography of Ben Franklin's one time. Um, I don't like biographies, number one. Reading things that are true is boring to me. I like fiction. But, so for whatever reason, I was reading this Ben Franklin biography, and I couldn't get past the fact that several times in the first couple of chapters, it mentioned something along the lines of his sexual prowess and exploits. I'm just like, I don't want to think that way about, 200-years dead American presidents. The man who proved lightning had electricity, but also didn't want the word notice to be used as a verb. Go figure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I was reading that biography. I wish I could remember. Okay, I am remembering more clearly that it's Torah va-nevi'im va-ketuvim. I am remembering more clearly that second word. I'm also remembering that for the most part, Hebrew doesn't really have vowels except for where they're kind of attached to consonants and the transition from one consonant to the next. So like Yahweh, God's name, one of God's names, is technically YHWH. And also I'm remembering that alphabet has a root. One of the roots of alphabet, because there's a couple, is Aleph Bet, which are the first two letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Just like in Greek, there's Alpha and Beta alphabet. That's probably the closer origin of it, but they're both part of the origin. Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketubim. Yes. Sounds come from symbols under the word or conjoining, I think you meant to say. Eric gave away a bunch of cards at church today. They were well received, maybe. Now, some of the ladies will want you to make them cards for a price, of course. What kind of cards are you making now, Eric? Is it still the mountain scenes, or are you doing Florida scenes now? Just the mountain scenes still? Cool. I mean, they're lovely. I haven't seen anything that you've made of those recently. I'm curious what they look like, whether they look really similar still, or if maybe they've evolved some. I'm going to eat this whole damn bag. Actually, I'm not. I might eat half, but I'm kind of getting tired of it. Also, my gums are a little sore for... I don't know why. Okay, cool. Love to see those in Discord. I had a thought, and it has completely escaped me now. We're in second winter, unfortunately. We had our false spring. We're in second winter now. Early next week or late this week, I can't remember. It's supposed to be the spring of deception, which is the second fake spring. And then we'll have winter 3.0 or something. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is supposed to be 66, 75, 71. So that's okay. That's nice. But I imagine it's going to get cold again not long after that. In fact, technically, tomorrow's supposed to have a high of 65, but an overnight night low of 29, and we'll get some sleet. The cats are not going to be able to go in the catio. I don't like having it open when it's below freezing. Also, having a window open when we have no heater. Oh, okay, so there's a tiny bit of drama. We have 2 space heaters. One has a fan on it, one doesn't. The one with the fan on it is a lot smaller. It's a ceramic infrared space heater where the fan just blows air past the heating element out into the room. It's got a thermostat on it, and I've got it set to 65, and apparently it's 65 down here because it's not running. But then we've got a upright radiator type water heater, an oil radiator, And so that just works by convection. It heats the air. Spring won't come for at least 2 weeks. Yeah, I know. Even though spring was technically 3 days ago. I hate living in a temperate region. Take me back to the tropics! Even though technically it wasn't a tropic. No part of the contiguous 48 United States exists below the Tropic of Cancer. But the American South, based on average temperature and rainfall, does have a tropical climate. And I miss it. I remember living in Pensacola in February, like middle of February. Yeah, but it's a lunar leap year, so everything's delayed a month. I don't think the seasons care about that. The seasons care about the position of the Earth compared to the sun and its tilt. Cards are posted. Let's go to Discord. I don't know why I'm going to Discord on that one. Excuse me. Content show up. Oh, they have changed a little more. They're okay, I'm gonna call this fuzzier. That's probably not the proper word, and I know part of it is due to the camera, but like they're less they're a little bit more impressionistic, fewer brush strokes from what I'm seeing, or at least that one is. And yeah, this is fewer strokes, especially in the sky. I am liking the way that these are. This one's closer to the older versions. Different brushes, and you've not been practicing these as much, but I do still like them, Eric. I do still really enjoy looking at these. This one and this one are my favorites out of this bunch. Actually, this one's really nice too. They're all really nice. So in no way think that I am like, what's the word? Insulting these or denigrating or whatever you want to call it, because they look great. They just look different from what you had been doing before, which I like. I like these. They were snatched up. There you go. Right, temperate. So, here in the middle of the country so the seasons technically start on the equinoxes and the solstices. However, they actually start, except for spring, they actually start on the month where its respective equinox or solstice is, especially fall and winter. Going from summer to fall, September 1st, bam, it's high of 65 instead of 85, 95. Like, instantly, September 1st, it's fall. Instantly. And then November 1st, instantly high of 50, high of 40. And then winter just stretches and drags through March and April. Ugh. Yeah, you don't miss the snow. I don't miss the snow, and I'm still here. And then summer doesn't start until like mid to late June, as the calendar says that it ought to. It's dumb. But yeah, in temperate regions, winter lasts all the way through spring. Winter is 6 months long. Don't let anyone try to fool you. Winter is from November through May. While my father-in-law was here, he actually said, yeah, this is, a little too warm for this early in March. I remember, snowstorms at the end of March or on Easter, and I'm like, well, wait a week. Wait a couple of days. Here we are again. I just get disgusted about cold. Cold hurts. Cold will kill you. You can't be outside comfortably when it's cold. Did I get it? This isn't new. Hold on. This isn't new. This is, I think I got this a year after we got married. Not like as an anniversary thing, but it was around our anniversary. So that's coming up on 6 years old. Just now noticing it? Okay. It's a camera aperture in watercolor. Samies? Oh, well, that's just because you guys aren't here. It's because you're not paying attention. Don't let me make you feel bad. You knew what you want to do. That's the point of streaming and an audience is it's my job to keep you sticking around. It's not your job to make me feel better. Yeah, that mostly tastes like beer until after you swallow it. Rubinsky, were you around when I talked about I got the garden moved? Busts out the loot? Mr. Bard, why are you pulling out your loot? Stare at the radials more? What radials? What are we talking about? What did I miss? Huh? Gonna buff the party. Okay, what are we buffing the party about? Radial are your muscles where the tattoo is. Oh, radius, radii. Well, okay, the radius and the ulna and the, yeah, okay. Eric's just having fun. Okay. So it wasn't anything I said, or okay. Eric just decided he wanted to buff us. Okay. Hydrate or dihydrate. Drink some water. Do you guys know? So when your arm is wrist up, this is called supinated. And then when you rotate your wrist without rolling your whole arm, when you rotate your wrist, that's called pronated. Okay? In order to make that happen, let me show you what this looks like. There we go. In order to make that happen, the radius has to cross over the ulna. In order to roll your wrist, the radius that's on the inside... No, hold on. If you're holding your arm like this, it's actually on the outside, but it's really on the inside. The radius that's on the inside flips over the ulna. The other end of these stays in place, and this end of the radius flips over it. Freaked me out when I first learned that. It makes me very uncomfortable to think about. You're welcome. I had to share that with you. This feels uncomfy. I don't know why. Like, yes, I know. I know. Exactly. Let's see. Chiropractor described that there's like a lip inside your shoulder joint, inside your scapula or something, where your humerus goes in, where muscle attaches. And if you lift your arms above your head for whatever reason, to put something on a shelf, to scratch your head, to do your hair, whatever, there's a possibility of the ball of your humerus to jump up a little and get caught on that little lip where there's a muscle attached. And I guess it can get uncomfortable. It's not like painful, but it feels funky. And there's a adjustment, a pop that you can do to a friend or have your chiropractor do to you. I feel like it's safe enough to do at home. Most chiropractic adjustments I would not attempt, but this one I feel like is safe enough that you could do at home, where you stand there with your arm on your hip, and then your friend puts one arm on your shoulder and then grabs your elbow with the other one and pushes your shoulder and pulls on your elbow, and you're supposed to pull against them pulling on your elbow. And it doesn't always work, but Paige has me do it to her almost every day. And there's a little pop sound that comes out of your shoulder, and it's apparently your humerus ball popping off of that little lip in the scapula or whatever it is there. See, I know a little bit about a lot of things. What good does that knowledge do me? None, but I know it. But things like that, knowing about how bones and muscles move and that kind of creepiness are why I can't go into medicine. Can't do it. I had a in 7th grade, my gym coach, PE teacher, whatever you want to call it, we called him Coach G. I remember 2 things about him. One was after he got it done explaining whatever activity we were going to be doing, he would say questions, comments, concerns, burning sensations, good gossip, just like that. And I always thought that was really funny. And also he told me about a human dissection class he took while he was getting his physiology degree, where so there's this cadaver, this dude who died, and there's a couple of ways to open up the chest cavity for inspection or surgery or an autopsy or whatever. The way he described is the most violent way. They take either a bone saw or pruning shears, or bolt cutters, kinda, and snip up your sternum. Okay, they cut apart the cartilage that's holding your what's it called, ribs together, and then they've got this contraption that sticks in that gap that you just cut, and then it's got like a ratchet, and you crank it like this, and it pulls the ribs apart. And the way he described the sounds of the tearing and the breaking of the bones and the tissues as that happened, I almost threw up out there on the PE field. And it was at that moment I decided, nope, I'm not going to be a doctor. I had considered it prior to that, but at that moment I was like, nope, I got to do something else. Rubinsky was traveling to Guatemala for his cousin's wedding. Some drunk dude went on a rant that men don't know the rainbow colors. Both you and your brother knew it. Allowed you to put that pompous putz into place. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Roy G. Biv. Who doesn't know that? He didn't know that, apparently. By the way, if anyone asks you the name of Alexander the Great's horse, it was Patrocletus, I think it is. Not for stream, but if you want comfy knowledge, look up the origin of a chainsaw. Yeah, I probably don't want to look that up even outside of stream. Or is it Heraclitus? Hold on. Oh, wow, I was way off. It's Bucephalus. Bucephalus is the name of Alexander the Great's horse, and one of the most famous horses in world history. I mean, that's not far off, Eric. Bucephalus. I keep switching back and forth between scenes. I just get excited and distracted and whatnot. But Eric, yes, I still have these cards. I still have these cards, and I still enjoy them. And I'm still thankful that you sent them to me. Merry Christmas. I'm sad that I had to send the nice ones on to family members, but like the ones that I loved more than this, I had to send them on to family members, unfortunately. Why did my gums hurt? Probably because I haven't eaten enough vegetables recently. I need to get that broccoli that's in the fridge and eat that. I'm out of carrots. I should have gotten some carrots when I was at the store yesterday. No, not yesterday, Friday. They're rearranging. Okay, this is like the most boring old dude complaint. They're rearranging the grocery store. So I knew where things were, and then now I don't. Some things have shifted subtly. Some things have shifted across the freaking store. Well, halfway across, I guess. Condiments like ranch and mustard and ketchup and whatever are now where bread had been. And bread is like around the corner from where it was. And they split up the canned foods. What else? They moved some of the like pharmacy self-care stuff that I really don't care about. I always have to look that up anyway. But thankfully, like, meat and bakery and dairy and things like that are still where they were. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's such an old dude thing to complain about. It's like, why are the eggs where the beer was? Okay, eggs are still where they were. Beer is still where it was. It's mostly the sundries grocery part that's been rearranged. Wasn't too far off. Alexander the Great burnt Persepolis to the ground. That's not, I don't remember if that's the name that I said. I actually don't remember. It was like Heraclitus or something, or Pericletus or something like that. Maybe. I guess I wasn't too far off. Wait, you can place Purim for you. Xerxes 1. Okay. Xerxes is not in the Christian Old Testament that I grew up reading, so I'm not going to be familiar with that. Yeah. Mordecai, the name, is familiar, but it's not. Yeah, okay. Right before Darius, also not in the Christian Old Testament. Hold on, let me look up the books here. And there probably is like a children's church song about this. The books of the Old Testament are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Okay, so it ends with Malachi. Yeah, not in that list. Now there was like some kind of like Catholic church or really, really early church convention that decided, okay, these are the books that are in the Bible and these are the books that aren't. And I don't know what kind of deciding criteria they used, whether it was just vibes, whether it was just whatever went with what they thought the most. I don't know. I feel like there was probably a good amount of preferentialism and wanting to be in control there. And then there's the Apocrypha, or the books that didn't make it. So I don't know. That's one of the arguments that atheists and things like that have for not believing the Bible, is that, okay, who decided what is Bible and what is Scripture and what isn't? Because Paul says, all Scripture is God-breathed and useful for exhortation and teaching, things like that. And I'm just like, okay, Paul, what is Scripture? Who decides what Scripture is? I know, like, first century Christians who had been Jews would probably know, but you'll need to call people tomorrow. Yeah. So that's part of the argument against, like, the Christian beliefs, and even by extension Jewish beliefs and whatnot. What counts as Scripture? Who decided and why? And what are the criteria? And how was it preserved and copied and translated and things like that? So I'm not going to get very much into that, but like, there were decisions made about what was and wasn't, and how can we trust the people that made those decisions? There are even like accounts of Jesus's life that aren't recorded, that aren't canonically part of the Bible. And so I guess the end point of where I'm going is that Jesus said, all the law and the prophets hang on these two commands. The first one is love the Lord your God, and the second is like it, love your neighbor. So basically, be kind. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. Treat your neighbor as if you love them. So, I don't know. I'm not going to get too far into that. Speaking of neighbors, funny story about my neighbor over there. I mentioned that I rented I thought the goal was to be petty. Jesus, from what I understand, some of the advice he gave as far as like going the extra mile or turning the other cheek or things like that were actually petty in the cultural experience of the time, because you could be pressed into service to walk a mile carrying a soldier's gear. And if you walked 2 miles, that was basically like shaming that soldier, like, this civilian can carry your gear for 2 miles, can't you? Things like that. What was I going to say? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Neighbor. I rented a wood chipper. because there was a brush pile in his backyard of branches and things that had fallen out of his trees, and probably my tree across the fence, and probably the other neighbor and the other neighbor. Everybody's trees are falling in everybody's yards because they grow over the fences. So he had this big brush pile that was probably 3 or 4 feet tall, not like solid, but you know, the tallest point was about 3 or 4 feet high, and then probably 12 feet in diameter. And so I rented a wood chipper. Well, okay. I talked to one of the guys that lived there. 5 dudes live there. At least 2, maybe 3 of them are brothers. And they're all like either in college or not long out of college. So they're all just like, one of them bought the house and the others are like subletting or whatever. Not the point. I talked to one of them about, hey, I'm thinking about renting a wood chipper. Can I have your guys' brush pile? Anita Max Win. What is that? Should I Google that? I'm going to Google that off screen just in case. The Anita Max Win Shop. Drake's captivating alter ego is showcased through a distinctive hat in exclusive live stream. Wait, what? Wait, what is Anita Max Win? Hydrate or dihydrate. Like, it's this, like, chibi character on the hat. It's Drake's alter ego. Like Drake the rapper? Yeah, Drake the rapper? That... Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have to... Let me finish the story about the brush pile and the wood chipper. I asked one of the guys, hey, I'm thinking about renting a wood chipper. Can I have your brush pile to turn into wood chips for mulch for my garden? He says, dude, you'd be doing us a favor. Yes. Rent that wood chipper and back it into our yard and point the chute over the fence and you have those wood chips. So I spent like an hour and a half doing that. Oh, it's also his currency. Oh, he started his own crypto. Yay. So I did that, spent like an hour and a half shoving branches into this wood chipper, and now I've got like a 4 foot wide, 2 foot tall pile of wood chips. You know what? I showed the picture last week. Hold on, let me get this. Hold on. Finished a puzzle today. There it is. Okay. Nope, come here. Nope, down here. There we go. Crypto's fun, but that's your cousin's deal, not mine. I just don't really care that much. Space heater just turned on. So this is where the garden is now. And here's the pile of wood chips. It's the 2.5-ish feet tall, roughly 5, we'll call it, foot diameter of the pile. And there's the 2 garden beds. And over here, yes. So I stood in the same spot and rotated like 140 degrees to the left. Is where the garden had been. The rectangles of soil are where the garden boxes had been. And these branches here I still need to cut up into firewood because they were too big to fit into the wood chipper. Hopefully this spot is going to get a lot more sun and I'll be able to grow better vegetables. But yeah, here's the wood pile. Excuse me. It's a little bit taller than these like roughly 4-gallon potato bags. I don't know why I felt like I had to show that to you. Right, Drake. What? What brought that up, Landon? Did I say something that brought to mind Drake? Oh, well, no, you know what? I wasn't done with the neighbor story. So I wood chipped it all and got it all raked up and everything. Like, why did you mention an Anita Max Win? Did I say something that brought it to mind or something that you were talking about with your friend in VR chat? What's up? So I finished with the wood chipping. A couple of days later, the guy who owned the house, who was apparently Ben, put a note in the mailbox that said, hey, thank you for chipping up that wood pile. You actually beat me to dealing with it. I know it was an eyesore. I appreciate you taking care of that for me and whatnot. And I was like, Ben, I wasn't complaining about it being there. I didn't mind looking at it. It's your yard. Do what you want. I just wanted the wood chips. This was entirely selfish. No wanting to deal with that eyesore. It did you a favor. It did me a favor. I got wood chips out of it. That's all it was. I need to go and find him at some point. His schedule is a little funky. I think he's a firefighter. So finding him, having him be there at the house when I notice is difficult. Okay, it's just a meme. Okay, I'm unfamiliar with that meme. I don't really pay attention to Drake. Also, I'm not as chronically involved with memes as I had been because, like, I got my memes through Imgur originally, and there was so much crap, so many posts about political situation and, you know, global climate issues and human rights violations and things like that in amongst the memes. You could even just go through the funny tag. You could only look at things that were posted as funny. It would still be all that political shit. Reddit, yeah, that's even on Reddit. They're still in the memes. There are political memes, and I don't want to know every day what Trump and the guy in Florida, I forget his name, and the guy in Kentucky, I forget his name, and the other guy in New York or New Jersey or Texas or whatever are doing. And I don't want to know about that. It just makes me sad. It makes me depressed. Like, it was literally affecting my quality of life. So I just cut myself off from the memes. I stick to Pinterest where I can, like, look at pretty things and Tumblr posts, old Tumblr posts, like 15, 20-year-old Tumblr posts. Yeah, there's a lot of talking on or in or about around memes. Any other interesting pictures in my Google Photos that I want to show you guys? Hold on. I pull it off the screen just in case there's something that you guys don't need to see in my pictures. Oh yeah, my father-in-law. We were listening to Reddit is scary. It's not that bad. I'm sure it can be if you have opinions. I don't really care about anything enough for people to get mad at me. But I was listening to some throwback music of like Linkin Park and some of the remixes, and Charlie Tuna was one of the guest. Oh, you can't see this. Was one of the guest artists on one of the Linkin Park tracks, and my father-in-law saw it on the screen. He says Charlie Tuna. Oh, it's like Charlie the Tuna from Starkist or Sunkissed. Sunkissed Tuna, or is it Starkist? It is Starkist. It's right in front of me, and I got it wrong. And I'm like, you might be right, but I have doubts. And I looked it up after he left, and I had to take this screenshot to send to him because he was absolutely right. Charlie Tuna, the rapper, his name and persona is based on Charlie the Tuna from Starkist Tuna. Reddit, to me, is more of a... and for the most part, it's like a help forum for me if I have a problem or if I'm trying to figure something out or get an answer about something. Usually Reddit is a good place to go. Like, I've been playing Generation Zero and I've been trying to figure out some questions I had about the game. Wikipedia should not be trusted. That is old, outdated, incorrect information. Maybe 20 years ago when Wikipedia first started, it shouldn't be trusted, but Wikipedia is so policed by nerds, bigger nerds than I am, who have even stronger need to be right than I do, and are fact-checking and cross-checking all of these references all the time. And so Wikipedia is probably more accurate than most things. Now, it is true, you cannot take away the fact that anyone can edit Wikipedia and make it say whatever they want. Yes, technically that's true, but there are hundreds and thousands of people constantly monitoring, especially the more popular or the more controversial or the more important Wikipedia articles about making sure that things are staying factual. And yeah, you can be banned from editing Wikipedia if you make things wrong or a lie or trying to fit your narrative or whatever. So I trust Wikipedia more than the president. No matter who the president is, I trust Wikipedia more. That's probably a poor example. Nobody trusts the president. I trust Wikipedia more than my grandparents, because they're full of wrong and outdated information. I've been seeing a lot recently where there are a lot of idioms and sayings that started out one way and meaning one thing, and they have been shortened and changed and rearranged to mean the exact opposite. So, for example, blood is thicker than water. You should, stick to your family and trust your family and love your family above anything else. No. The actual quote is from the Bible. It says the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, meaning, your mother's water breaks before she goes into labor. Relationships that you choose and build and make covenants for are metaphors. Mixing two idioms or cliches at a future time. That's a fun thing. Hey, you made this bed, now make it drink, or something like that. You can lead a horse to water. Let's see. You made this can of worms, now lie in it. That kind of thing. That's fun. But no, I'm talking about deliberately changing the meaning of the phrase away from what it originally was. So the blood of covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The relationships that you make are more important than your familial relationships, especially if your family is treating you wrong. There's the customer is always right in matters of taste. If your customer wants to buy a green and yellow plaid jacket on top of iridescent green pants and a mustard yellow shirt, and they think it looks good, let them. It's not your job to tell them that it looks terrible. They want to spend their money. If they want to spend it on something that looks awful and it makes them happy, then fine. That's their taste. They're always right about their own taste. The customer is not right about your pricing and your policies and what you are allowed and not allowed to do and who's in charge and what your decisions are. Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none. That's where people usually end the saying, but the rest of it is often better than a master of one. Having, inch deep, mile wide knowledge is often a lot better than being an uber precise master of one thing. Because if you can't pull from other sources of information or other knowledge that you have, then you're limited to just that one thing that you're a master at. You can't do anything else. I have been so thankful a number of times throughout my career, which ended 6 years ago. But when I was working, being able to pull from experience and knowledge across disciplines and, just lots of different places, and being able to apply that to really specific problems that somebody who maybe studied this particular one thing that I was working with might not have thought of because they didn't have all of that wide experience. Or birds of a feather flock together. People that are similar often find each other. But what's the rest of that one? That one I don't remember, but there is more to it. Let's see. Until the cat comes. So that's about fair weather friends. Like, yeah, you guys are all similar and you all hang out, but as soon as something bad happens, they're gone. They don't care about you. Just because you have similar interests doesn't mean they actually care about you. Or, great minds think alike. Sure, but fools rarely differ. So you have to be careful of sticking around people who think the same way that you do, because a lot of times stupid people will get together and all think the same way as well. You got to be careful. But smart people are going to have a lot of similar ideas as well. So you just got to be careful. You got to be discerning. So those aren't called metaphors. I know there's probably a word for those, but you just take all of those with a grain of salt, and anything that encourages you. Yeah, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. That's the rest of that quote. So just being curious is not a bad thing. If you found out what you wanted to know, and it didn't hurt you, it didn't hurt anybody, then there's nothing wrong with wanting to know. There's nothing wrong with being curious about things, and people trying to shut down curiosity, bad things. So just use your own discernment. Anything that encourages you to think or feel a certain way, you need to examine it and see whether it actually aligns with what you really believe, what you really hold to be important. I find curiosity very important. I want to know things. If there's something I don't know about and it's interesting to me, I'm going to go look it up. If there's something I don't know about and it can, affect me in a large way, I want to know about it. Yeah, I'm getting very preachy. Sorry. Drizzlicious. Open. Sesame. All the cats are gone. They went upstairs where it's warmer. I don't see any cats. Okay, this is the last one. Additional story time. A couple of days ago, beginning of the week, my dad sends me a text with a picture of this. He says, "Hey, son, don't you use these, in your gaming and your streaming?" I'm like, you know what? I actually don't have a headset that has a microphone attached to it yet. Because I knew, knowing my dad, that he was going to offer to send it to me, because that's the only reason he would have brought it up. And so I just opened that door for him to do so without it being awkward. And he said, "Oh, well, I bought these off a friend who needed some money. They're good quality. Can I send them to you and see if you can use them?" I said, "Sure." They got here yesterday. And I tried them. So they got here like late afternoon yesterday, and I tried them out. The problem is I have giant ears. And so they barely fit inside these ear cups. In fact, they're a little bit cramped. This way. If you look at this ear cup, my ear occupies like the entire thing. And there's like, however much of a margin between the outer edge and the inner edge of the ear cup. So my ears don't actually fit in this. They sound fine. And they work with my PlayStation controller upstairs. Just plug that into the controller. They're not wireless, but they do have a switch where you can use them for PlayStation or Xbox. And there's a USB port for reasons I don't understand, because they're not wireless. You plug these in. I don't know. They are Ear Force Recon 200 Gen 2. So they're fine. The sound quality is good. It's just my ears are just too freaking huge, so they're uncomfortable to wear for more than a few minutes. So I said, what exactly did I say to him? I sent him a text back today. Well, your son's ears are apparently larger than normal, but they sound good. I haven't had the opportunity to try out the microphone yet. Do you think Matt, my youngest brother, would like them? Youngest half-brother, who's not actually related to me, I found out. By the way, if you want to be my friend on Be Real, I would really appreciate that. There we go. Be Real is the last link there. It's, oh, that looks fun. Some band is doing a concert under a bridge. That sounds like a good amphitheater. And my friend looks lovely in her nice strawberry dress. Or Hello Kitty strawberry dress. I wish I could show this to you. You've never gotten Be Real, you should. It's becoming more mainstream, more commercialized. There are a lot of brands on there which I don't really understand the point of. Well, okay, I understand the point of wanting to make money and have advertisers and brands on there. I get that. But the premise of Be Real is you get a notification sometime throughout the day, and you take a picture of what you're doing at that moment. You have 2 minutes to take a picture of what you're doing in real time, rather than posting pre-prepared images of whatever, And there are brands on here. You just don't have many people you'd be real with, but you love the photo collection idea. I I don't mind being real. I feel like it would be a fairly easy way to build friendship and intimacy. And don't take intimacy to mean like sexual intimacy, with like closeness with friends that you don't really know that well. Especially, it provides insight to what your life is like, and then it could spark conversation and things like that. I think it would be a good thing for, you know, friends that aren't like really, really close yet, because it could help you get close, in my opinion. But as far as the brands go, they are going to be posting prepared things. They're not going to be posting whatever their social media manager is doing right at that moment, or, whatever. I don't even know what one of these brands posts even look like. Can I go look at this? You have to add them to view. I don't want to add Adidas. Auburn men's basketball, Billabong, the Brooklyn Nets, the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Bruins, Jimmy John's, Be Real themselves. Okay, I'll add Be Real just to see what brand content looks like. Never mind, that's a bad idea. I'm going to unadd them, because they're just reposting things from other brands or from other users. I have no idea what Bretman Rock is. I'm not going to do that. Okay, fine. I'll look at Adidas. I'll add Adidas. I can remove them at any time. So they're posting content from Adidas sponsored teams. So is there like a round robin? How do they decide? No, they're my... How do they decide who's going to post and what and whatever? Because this is like watching some kind of indoor soccer game. Whatever. The premise of Be Real is not to connect with brands. Sorry. Good night, Rubinsky. Hasta la pasta. I don't know if I'm going to stick around that much longer either. Eric, you still there? Landon, you still there? Oh, Errant Knight, have you secretly popped in? Ugh. I'm excited. Okay, this is also another old man boring thing, but I'm excited about what I'm going to make for dinner tomorrow. It's this potato and leek gratin from... What site is it? New York Times Cooking. So... I don't know if it's going to let me actually view it. There we go. This is what it looks like. It's delicious. Add some ham or bacon to this, and it is perfect. It's really a side thing, but you add some like I said, bacon or ham to this, and it's really good. It's basically, you slice your potatoes, you slice your leeks, you make a cheese sauce with cream. You're not even making a bechamel. You just make it with some cream and some garlic and some salt and pepper and Gruyere, and you bake it. And it's... I'm so excited to have this tomorrow. Paige is really excited about it too, I'm sure. Yes, it's so yummy. Rubinsky, go to bed though. I forgot, it's almost 10 o'clock there. I'm going to look up the Purim traditions. You know what, Rubinsky, one question if you're still there. Is it Purim or Purim? Is there like a Y sound after the P? Probably not. Eating a celebratory meal with alcoholic beverages known as Seudat Purim or Mishteh. Commemorates the saving of the Jewish people from annihilation at the hands of an official of the Achaemenid Empire named Haman, and is recounted in the book of Esther. I feel like I got confused about the Malachi, or the Mordecai, I mean. Okay. Plans were foiled by Mordecai of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. Day of feasting and rejoicing. They should make them days of feasting and gladness and of sending portions to one another and gifts to the poor. Adar. Celebrated in Adar 2 in leap years, which occur 7 times in every 19 years. Observed in most years with the fast of Esther. I'm not seeing much about all the drinking. Okay. That's going to be it for now, I think. Let's look at the game or games that are coming up on Thursday. What is hip-hop happening on the Epic Game Store? Okay, so... Oh no, that's deals of the week. Where are the free games? What's going on here? Why isn't it loading the free games section? Let's reload that. Horizon Forbidden West is on Epic, the complete edition. No, you're supposed to skip over to that one. Okay, something's wrong with Epic. Let's see if it's on their website. Although I bet the launcher just loads the website. Well, no. I think there might be issues with Epic because this is loading slowly and it's acting funny. Yeah, and there's not a free games section anymore. I wonder whether they ended the free games thing. Or if they're just having issues loading it all. Okay, I guess we're going to find out what the free game is on Thursday. I need to spend some time before Thursday putting together and figuring out playlists for the stream so that I don't have to pay for Spotify anymore. Okay. Everybody have a great night. I hope you had a nice weekend. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay warm because it is second winter after the Spring of Deception. Don't do anything you don't want to explain to the paramedics. Rubinsky, drink some water also before you go to bed. I will see you guys on Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. Central. Peace out.